A meaningful MAC Red matchup here tonight on MTGA. Hello again, everybody. I'm Brad Fetters alongside my broadcast partner, Jason Burt, getting set to call the action tonight. What is kind of a pivotal matchup here tonight between our Dakota Cougars and the Grosse Pointe South Blue Devils. And Jason, as we take a look at the MAC Red standings, we see the Dakota Cougars firmly in that top spot.
Yeah, coming into the season, Brad, they were kind of marked as potential favorites in the MAC Red. They've played very well this year. You can see 9-2. Grosse Pointe South down a little bit this year. I know they play a lot of underclassmen, and they're going to be going through some learning curve this year. But Dakota is a team that they have some experience, and they have some youth on their side as well. They're led by Cameron Grant, post player for them. It's kind of a do-everything player for them. Really kind of takes the offense inside out and really helps those outside shooters on the perimeter do their job and knock down some of those open threes.
Dakota was red hot, but they're coming off a tough loss. It kind of tightened up the standings just a little bit.
Yeah, that's what they're looking at right now is obviously they have Warren Cousino right on their heels, and a couple more wins might seal the deal for them and give them a red championship. So they can't overlook this Grosse Pointe South team because that's usually when upsets can happen.
Season coming down to these final few games. Can't wait to call tonight's action. Starting lineups and opening tip coming up next right here on Macomb Township Government Access.
Todd's a great guy. I mean, look at him. What a sweetheart. Attaboy. Wait, Todd, what are you doing? How totally selfish and un-Todd-like of you. Come on, Todd. Come on, man.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool.
To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back to Macomb Township Government Access. Brad Fetters alongside Jason Burt. Let's quickly meet tonight's starters. First for the Grosse Pointe South Blue Devils. Number 2, Alexa Downey. Number 5, Savannah Shrubnik. Number 10, Maria Hesberg. Number 11, junior guard Sydney Hall. And number 22, Margot Bear. Grosse Pointe South is coached by Kevin Richards. And now for our home team, the Dakota Cougars. Number 11, Tara Benowitz. Number 12, Jamie Mischenko. Number 22, Cameron Grant. Number 23, junior forward Taylor Williams. And number 32, junior guard Katie Knapp. Cougars are coached by Phil McCune and come in with a record of 9 up, 2 down, 5-1 in league play. And Jason, off the top of tonight's broadcast, you mentioned Cameron Grant. She'll wear number 22 in white here tonight. And she is coming off a 18-point, 13-rebound performance in their win against Port Huron Northern. She's already gotten a couple offers, including one from Central Michigan University.
Yeah, she's kind of I said she's the do-everything player for them. They like to work the ball inside out, and they'll start by going to her in the post, and she's great at passing the ball from the post area, and she's good at finding those outside shooters, and that's why it makes players like Tara Benevitz and also Taylor Williams so dangerous, because they can work the perimeter, slash inside, maybe dish it off to her, and they're a good three-man game there. And they also have depth. They have about another 3 or 4 girls coming off the bench that can also play. So Dakota's having an outstanding year thus far, but they start with a turnover.
Cameron Grant won that opening toss, and a couple quick passes, and ball sails out of bounds. An early turnover there for the Cougars.
Always a key, ball control in these games. Who's going to turn the ball over the least?
Cougars come out in those home white jerseys, Grosse Pointe, and their road blues with gold trim. Downey drives baseline, good bounce pass into the paint. Had to alter the shot because of Williams inside. Taylor Williams now will take it up in the offensive end. Drop-off pass and a good swat there by Margot Bear. And here comes the Blue Devils.
Back-to-back blocks on 2 possessions. The bigs coming up big for both teams.
Steal. Benovitz coming down the left-hand side, goes up with the lay-in, lays it up, lays it in.
Well, we've gotten to see Tara Benevitz for 4 years, and she's one heck of a player for Dakota.
Seemingly been here forever. We saw her get her start as a freshman on this floor. And another steal. Dakota 3-on-1 if they hurry. Going in, coasting, and filling it up, Taylor Williams.
Grosse Pointe South would have to do a much better job handling the basketball and not allowing Dakota to get in transition.
This Dakota squad averaging over 58 points per game. That's tops in all of Macomb County by nearly 6 points per game. So this is an offense that likes to get it going. Williams rips down that rebound. Coming along that far side, taking it all the way, coast to coast. Can't get it to fall. Rebounded momentarily by Cameron Grant, but her pass sails into the hands of number 11, Sydney Hall, who's fouled in the process.
Might have been a good foul right there. Grosse Pointe South would have had numbers coming back. What a play by Williams, though. Excuse me. What a great individual effort to just get that shot up. It just, unfortunately for her, rolled off the rim.
Dangerous pass down low. Good shooter's touch that time by Margot Bear. Grosse Pointe South now on the scoreboard.
Well, Margot Bear, size-wise, is going to match up nicely against Cameron Grant in the post.
Benovitz picks up the dribble. Goes over to the wing. Mischenko there, back to Benovitz. Benovitz gets the screen, goes to her left. Pulls up, gets the triple team. Long range shot. Cameron Grant can't get it to go. Offensive rebound by Knapp outside of Benovitz. Up top now. Grant thought about it, instead will drive. Terrific up and under by Cameron Grant. She's on the scoreboard, and the Cougars now lead at 6-2.
It just shows the great athleticism she has. She can shoot from the outside. She just fired up a three-point attempt, and then that one from the three-point line drove all the way in to lay it in.
A nice cut, but they have to go back outside with it. Shrebnick found herself open under the basket, but I was unable to handle the pass cleanly. So Grosse Pointe South back to the drawing boards. Sydney Hall with it, being guarded up top there by number 12, Mischenko. Floater, no good. Williams comes down with the rebound.
Well, after that screen, they had a mismatch defensively. South couldn't take advantage of it.
Williams with the crossover. Grant, eyes on the three, off the back heel. Hall with the rebound.
Well, they definitely don't want to rely on that three-point shot like that. You got to get Cameron Grant down in the post area and allow some of your other shooters better looks.
Hall passes it off to Bear. Sweet touch there. Margot Bear, all 4 points here in the first quarter for Grosse Pointe South.
And I think it got them out of sync defensively coming back the other way, and it allowed Grosse Pointe South to set that half-court possession up.
Long range two, no good. And there you see that athleticism and size of Cameron Grant, all 6'1". Comes down with the offensive rebound, goes up, gets fouled, and will shoot two. Grant's first is good. Second will fall as well. Give Cameron Grant a quick 4 points. Her Cougars are now out in front, 8-4, 4:08 remaining in the first quarter. Three out of the corner pocket, no good. Referee signals Grosse Pointe South ball.
Gonna get a timeout now.
Coach McCune asking for it and granted the 32nd timeout. And we mentioned that Dakota out in front in the MAC Red standings, and we're a perfect 5-0 until they drop that 66-63 contest on the road to Grosse Pointe North. A little bit of an upset there.
Yeah, and Coach McCune before the game even mentioned, he said it was like that was a track meet. It was just a shootout, but tough loss for them. But they've not had many this year. And talking with him before the season even started, he had a nice grin on his face, and he said, "Listen, this is probably one of the best teams that I've had in my coaching tenure here at Dakota."
That's saying a lot.
He's had some good ones over the years.
Sure has. including last year's team that won the first ever regional title in school history. So really picking up where they left off last season, enjoying that 9-2 mark. And there's another block there by Cameron Grant. She is terrific. Our first look this season at the sophomore.
Hard to believe only a sophomore, but you can see how big she plays down in that post area, and just that long wingspan got that block.
Obvious now why she's getting those early MAC offers. You expect she'll get even more looks as the years progress. Grant comes down with it once again, looking to break out. Benowitz eyes the three, on its way, pure.
A deep three-pointer. She was a good 2 to 3 steps behind the line, but she's got that range.
Lead all the way up to 7, 11-4. Grosse Pointe South turns it over. Here comes the Cougars once again. Mischenko counted and the foul. No, wait. They're going to say she traveled.
I don't think she just realized it. Yeah, she was fired up on that one, but unfortunate. Got called for the travel, but this Dakota team, 1 through 5, like I mentioned, of the top 2, they're one of the most talented starting 5s in the MAC.
Mischenko, only a freshman, so a couple underclassmen in the starting 5 for the Cougars. There's another clean block shot.
There's going to be nothing easy inside for Grosse Pointe South.
Turnover there, 3-on-1 for the Blue Devils. A little pull up, back and forth goes the pass. Can't get the shot to fall. Maria Hesberg will shoot 2 at the free throw line. South getting out in transition. Can't get the buckets to fall. Still trail 11-4, but can get back into this ball game quickly. Dakota's really neutralized any sort of post game here tonight for Grosse Pointe South. Might have to rely more on the jump shots as this game progresses. Hesberg splits at the line, 11-5, 2:58 remaining now in the first quarter. Benowitz inside, Grant.
Beautiful
Too
pass.
easy.
Beautiful pass by Benevitz. That's that inside game. They like to go down in the post, and it was just a good pass over the top of the defender. And once Grant turned, she had nobody on her.
Downey, 3, no good, long. Fight for the rebound. And it's going to be Mischenko that watches it sail out of bounds. So Cougar basketball. So maybe a little bit more of that here tonight for Grosse Pointe South, those long-range three-point shots. Mischenko now directing traffic, splits a couple Blue Devil defenders. I'll say the foul happened on the floor.
Forced Williams into an extra step, but it's because the defender came out to pick her in the lane.
Another timeout on the floor. The foul was on number 23, Margot Bear. It'll be Grosse Pointe South that takes the 32nd timeout. So both teams now with 4 timeouts remaining, and it's the Cougars out in front 13-5.
Well, Brad, you mentioned last year the first ever regional championship in school history, and they got one heck of a shot to do it again this year with this group. I feel like, you know, they have about 3 or 4 girls right here. The core of their team are really, really good players, and then they have a good complement of players coming off the bench, like I mentioned. This group has the talent to do it as long as they stay healthy down the stretch with Taylor Williams and Cameron Grant and Tara Benevitz. Those 3 right there really leading the way for this Dakota team, and I'm sure they're going to be looking to repeat again.
Pass comes out to Mischenko. Over to Knapp, inside, look there for Cameron Grant, but she traveled. So turnover for the Cougars gives a possession back to Grosse Pointe South. MLive has this Dakota team ranked 20th in the state currently.
Now, the good thing for Dakota, they get into the state tournament. A lot of times you don't see about 15
That's
of
true.
those teams. So
Terrific drop off inside. And Cameron Tucker unable to convert as the Dakota defense, first time we've seen them kind of break down there. They dodge a bullet.
Full court press now being brought there by Grosse Pointe South.
And Williams caught the ball and in the process double dribbled. So she was able to break the pressure, but kind of just had the ball kind of catch her in the knee area, and she carried it.
Really no offense for Grosse Pointe South thus far, Brad. Just hard to get open shots. Right there, another block.
It's about a half dozen blocks already for Grant here. Mischenko, good hesitation off the back iron. Williams fouls it up with a miss of her own. Gets fouled and will shoot two.
Offensive rebounding right there, the key, but Dakota can't keep missing those easy bunnies. They had a few easy looks underneath.
Margot Bear getting ready to check back into this game. Williams can't get the first to fall. Rachel Bauer, junior guard, first action for the junior here tonight. So Mischenko will take a seat. Williams earns the split, and the lead has grown to 9.
Dakota slowly, methodically extending this lead, taking control of this basketball game here in the opening quarter.
NBA three on its way, misses short. Fight for that loose ball, and it's going to be the Cougars who track it down. Taylor Williams running out, pulls up, finds Benowitz. Bauer now from the wing. She gets the shot to fall. So Bauer comes off the bench and finds her stroke.
Good hustle from her to keep that play alive on the other end, and got Dakota the basketball, and in transition, nice baseline jumper.
Sydney Hall gets the screen, a little one-on-one. Hesberg three, misses its mark, sailing out of bounds with exactly 38 seconds remaining in this opening quarter.
Well, we got a nice double up here tonight, Brad. This is a game that will be followed by the boys, same two schools. Grosse Pointe South visiting here at Dakota. Always nice when they play back-to-back. We get to cover 2 games.
Grosse Pointe South bringing one of the big travel vans. Bus to the game. Both teams came rolling out of. Bauer has it on the wing, looking to pass inside, finds Grant on the cut, kicks it back out. Terrific ball movement, and the three by Basilia.
That's just a well-executed offensive possession right there for Dakota. See if Grosse Pointe South can get a shot up here to end the quarter.
Wilson to Downey. Downey's going to have to get one up. Instead, she'll elect to give it off to Hall. Finds a lane and gets it to go. And that will do it for our opening quarter of play. The Cougars here on their home court, enjoying a 19-7 lead. We'll take a break, but when we come back, the start of the second quarter of play right here on MTGA.
Live with a human for a while and you get to know a few things. Like, I know she's actually not a morning person. I know she does strange tricks for no treats. I know that water makes her howl like crazy. I even know how the floor stays so clean. She's quick. But the one thing I will never for the life of me know is how she gets so tiny and inside that box. Natalie, how do you get so tiny?
Welcome back to Dakota High School. Brad Fetters alongside Jason Burnt. And Jason, really no surprise. We talked about this Dakota team. Has a lot of depth, 5 different Cougars factoring in the scoring there in the first quarter.
Yeah, Dakota is a deep team, and they're going to utilize the strength of their bench, and they come out here with some fresh players to start the second.
Cameron Grant leading all scorers with 6 points. Terrific defense being applied by Dakota. But Hall finds herself open from that far side. Can't get the three to go, and it's Cameron Grant. Out to Benowitz. 3 on the way. Good. Her second three-point basket of the game.
In transition, that's scary. She can stop on a dime and fire up a three-pointer like that. That's a dangerous touch.
Give the senior guard 8 points now already in this first half. Grosse Pointe South looking for some sort of answer offensively. Hall with it, being guarded by Bauer. Hall goes to her right side, crosses over Bauer, gets the screen, a little pick and roll action there. Cross court path. 3 on the way, no good, off the iron.
Great box out right there by Cameron Grant.
So it's those little fundamentals, and she gets that strong shot up and will shoot 2.
Great box out on this end, gets a good rebound, and then goes coast to coast. Just couldn't finish, but she's at the line now. I mean, just shows you what kind of a player she is and the athleticism that she has. Only a sophomore, Brad. Coach McHugh's got to love the fact that he's got 2 more years with her here on his home court.
And she's going to turn into quite the terrific player. As she gets the first to fall, can't convert on the second, but Dakota is going to hold on to the possession of the basketball. They say last touch by Grosse Pointe South. A little bit of a mistake there, keeps this possession alive for the Cougars.
Cameron Grant, who has the ball, she keeps progressing. Next couple of years, you're definitely going to be talking about her as MAC Player of the Year potentially, or maybe even State of Michigan. Top player in the state right there. Finishes that one off at a foul.
An opportunity for the 3-point play for Cameron Grant. She has taken over this basketball game. Can't make good on the freebie. So score remains 25-7. 6:40 left in the first half. Telegraph pass, easy steal for Benowitz. Coast in, goes up strong with the left hand.
Immediate timeout, Brad. That was a lazy pass, and you can see now that the score is starting to get lopsided. Grosse Pointe South a little frustrated and a little lazy on their passes, and that one was just easy to read. And Tara Benowitz picked it off and went coast to coast for the lay-in. Brad, you mentioned in that first quarter about the travel and the bus that came in here for Grosse Pointe South. Think about how many miles that these teams have to travel in the MAC Red. When you look at the teams like Warren, Cousino, you got a Warren team. Port Huron Northern, both of the Grosse Pointe schools. I mean, they all have to travel at least once to the other school. I mean, that's a lot of miles put on by these schools.
Yeah, Grosse Pointe North now playing both boys and girls basketball in the MAC Red. And we talked about it in our preview show, the distance between Grosse Pointe and Utica Eisenhower, 31 miles. That makes for a lot of late nights for the Grosse Pointe schools.
There's one school I didn't even mention was Romeo. So Romeo's out there as well. So if you think about a Grosse Pointe school having to travel to Romeo or vice versa, that's quite a long bus trip. These girls have put in a lot of miles last couple of years. Wonder if the MAC Red is ever going to realign, and next year would be the year. We'll have to wait and see, but problem is, Brad, a lot of these schools have been really good over the last couple of years, and the MAC with competitive balance, they want to keep those teams up there in the red.
Yeah, Warren Cousino won a state title a couple of years ago, so they're rightfully in their spot locked in the MAC Red. Some sloppy basketball there results in a couple turnovers, a baseball pass up ahead, and an easy bucket there for Lily Adams.
That's the result of just aggressive defense. It didn't work out for you, and Grosse Pointe South was able to get the easy bucket on this end.
Bauer catches, gets it over the timeline. Terrific drive on the baseline for Olivia Dameron.
Olivia Dameron showing what the underclassmen can do on this Dakota team. I mentioned they were deep.
She now becomes the 6th Cougar to score, and there's another turnover off the hand of Sydney Hall. So trying to set up that screen with Maria Hesberg. And a steal there by Hall. Looking for a drop-off to her teammate Savannah Shrebnick. 50-50 ball possession to Dakota.
Grosse Pointe South side did not like it, but
so here comes that full court pressure being applied once again by the Blue Devils. They got Bauer trapped on the baseline. Hesberg goes up with it all over way around the rim and down.
Dakota not handling this pressure right now from Grosse Pointe South. Hard trap in the corner. We're going to get a timeout. Coach McCune recognized it quickly, called the TO because Dakota struggling right now to get the ball even to midcourt.
It's the Blue Devils amping up the pressure, Hoping defense leads to a few more buckets here as they find themselves trailing 29-11 with 5:07 remaining in the second quarter of play. And we mentioned that Grosse Pointe North loss for Dakota, and their only other loss this season was to a really good Ann Arbor Huron team. And they've gotten off to a terrific start here at home, Jason, 5-1.
Dakota's always played well on their home court, and like I said, you're led by that big three. You're going to win more basketball games than not. And right now, Dakota's got this game in cruise control, but they got to clean up their play here. Last couple minutes, some sloppy passes of their own has led to some turnovers, and they got to find a way to beat the press. Right now, that's causing them fits.
Basilia, Grant, Williams, Dameron as Dakota turns it over once again, and Benowitz, the 5 on the floor for the Cougars, and Dakota having a difficult time getting that ball in right in front of their home bench. And Grosse Pointe South now with another opportunity on the offensive end. Have to cash in on these opportunities.
Grosse Pointe South has gotten a few easy buckets, but offense has been hard to come by for them, especially with interior defense that Dakota's had thus far.
Grant coming out to guard. And that's a mismatch out there. South able to somehow come down with that offensive rebound. Some confusion and bad spacing that time by the Blue Devils leads to a steal. Taylor Williams out in front, goes up, can't get it to fall. South now with numbers, a little 3-on-2 if they hurry. Sharebnik goes up, can't get the floater to fall, but the possession will stay with Grosse Pointe South.
She lost that ball going up, you could tell. It got knocked out of her hands just slightly. Tried to maintain control, but threw her shot off a little bit. Grosse Pointe South definitely playing better here in the second quarter, but Dakota got off to that big lead. It's going to be hard for them to come back at all in this one.
Lily Adams to key things in here. Hesper catches, draws a double team, kicks it out. Sydney Hall, long range 2, wide right. Williams comes down with the rebound, thought about pulling up her dribble. She's trapped in the backcourt. Couple weird bounces there and saved by Benowitz.
Williams was able to split through 3 defenders, and that saved the possession. Now Grant immediately double teamed, and you can see the strategy now here for South immediately when she gets the basketball.
And that double team of Grant is going to allow a few more of her teammates to get open, and it's going to be Benowitz this time. Good closeout that time by Grosse Pointe South. Benowitz, good clean block. Ripped down by Grant, who gets hauled down, and they're going to say a travel.
Yeah, they're going to say she traveled. It looked like a nice open field tackle, but
it's a little bit of a helter-skelter pace to this basketball game.
defensively, the Blue Devils have picked up their game here in the second quarter. They're drawing double teams now to Cameron Grant. Even Tara Benevitz, they're dropping back an extra defender against her, an open 3 there.
And a stump from the wing, nothing but string. And another trap in the backcourt, a dangerous pass and a turnover. Olivia Dameron falling away there, couldn't keep that ball from going out.
Ball handling a problem right now for Dakota, and you know, Grosse Pointe South, if you're them, you're going to be thinking, try to get the game back within single digits going into halftime. And right now they have all the momentum.
Hall continuing to run that point guard position, draws a double team, stump again, back-to-back threes, can't get it to fall. Benowitz now. She has decided to take this one up court by herself. Thought about the 3. Instead goes to Grant. Triple teamed once again. Benowitz, good bounce step there to open herself up for another 3-pointer.
That's just high basketball IQ there. Just a little dribble to get herself some space. Knocked down another big triple. She's got 3 of them here in this first half.
13 points in this first half for Tara Benowitz. Williams can't come down with the rebound, and they're going to say Hesberg was fouled inside. So that's 76 points that Dakota scored in their last contest with this Grosse Pointe South team was their season high, and they look well on their way to possibly scoring that again here tonight.
Dakota going deep into their bench. Kennedy Reese into the game for the first time.
Jetwin Wilson into the ball game as well for Grosse Pointe South.
Reese, a 5'11" senior.
Split there. Kennedy Reese with the rebound. Outlets it ahead to Basilia. Up ahead to Grant. Catch, shoot. Grant able to beat everybody down the floor.
She had that right arm held. As soon as she caught it, the defender didn't see the pass coming in. She just barely caught it in a tight window. When she turned, the defender held onto her right arm, and that's where the foul was called. Otherwise, she would have had maybe a clean look at the basket.
And Reese off the bench is now the 7th Cougar to factor into the scoring. So Coach McCune getting offense up and down his roster here tonight.
Boy, when you can bring in a 5'11" girl off the bench to play in the post to get to spell some of your starters, that's a dangerous weapon to have. Right now, Grosse Pointe South playing small with a couple of their post players on the bench.
Blue Devils need to get this basketball in. Dangerous pass off the hands of Anna Stump and out of bounds. So Dakota offense, fun to watch, both in transition and in their half-court sets. Turned over here, Stump goes up with it strong with the right hand, can't get it to fall. Hesberg fouls up the miss with a make of her own.
And they're immediately coming to the ball handler to try to double team. Dakota able to get over top of the press, and that leads to easy buckets, but a miss.
Grant, couple offensive rebounds. And a tie up there, possession arrow favoring Dakota.
Well, that's the one thing Grosse Pointe South's got to be careful of, because when they bring that full court pressure, Dakota can go over the top. It sometimes leads to easy buckets. They just couldn't capitalize there.
Benevich from the three-point range, no good. Kept alive by Grosse Pointe South. They maintain possession. Downey goes up, draws contact, blocking foul.
Emily Basilia just couldn't get back in time to set her feet.
Downey, the freshman, will shoot two. Dakota has doubled up Grosse Pointe South, 34-17. A lot of size on the floor right now for Dakota.
I think Coach McCune recognized that. I mentioned moments ago that Grosse Pointe South was playing smaller right now. He brings in all his bigger players, so right now they should have an advantage on the glass.
Knapp, terrific assist there. Finding Kennedy Reese, and Reese, 4 quick points here in the second quarter. Dakota, nothing easy on the defensive end. Really limiting Grosse Pointe seemingly all night long.
Unfortunately, a blocking foul before the shot.
Cameron Grant will take a seat on the bench. She was the Cougar that committed the foul. Only her first. So she's done a really nice job defensively to avoid getting a foul. Sydney Hall's 3 off the front iron, no good. Taylor Williams with a minute to go in the first half. Benevich pulls up, goes back to the drawing board. Williams.
Shuffle the feet.
The ball fake, and in the act of the ball fake, shuffle the feet. She nailed it.
Faked herself out on that one. She saw some space and eyes got big. Well, Dakota right now, Brad, in control of this one with under a minute left to go.
Got off that hot start in the first quarter, led 19-7, and really have kept up the offense in the second quarter.
Good rebound right there by Reese.
Outlet ahead.
Another turnover.
With the turnover. Junior forward traveled.
Grosse Pointe South right now, their spacing across the court in the half-court set is allowing Dakota to have those open lanes. And when they look at that, that's what's causing turnovers. Their eyes are getting big right now because they can see the opportunity to maybe drive the ball inside or dish it off to an open teammate.
Grosse Pointe South was looking for a little pick and roll action, and back-to-back turnovers, a hold for Dakota. And
right now, Dakota's lacking in a pure ball handler. They're lacking a point guard that can control the play right now and really bring the ball up court and get you into those half-court sets.
6-team foul on Dakota. So they'll avoid the bonus. Hall. Mischenko out there guarding her. Terrific defense being applied by Jamie Mischenko. Cougars an opportunity if they can get down this rebound. It's going to be Grosse Pointe South. Last second three, banks it home. Sydney Hall beats the buzzer with the three-point bucket. Trims the lead down to 14 as the teams head to the locker room. It's the Cougars out in front, 36-22. What a way to end the first half of play.
Yeah, big shot right there for Grosse Pointe South. Maybe it take a little momentum into the locker room, but they still find themselves down by a big margin. Dakota's got to clean up some of the sloppy play we saw in that second quarter, but they should be all right, led by their big trio in the starting five.
Teams will head to the respective locker rooms. We'll take a break here on MTJ, but when we come back, the start of the second half of play. Stay tuned.
There's just one place where students are students first, and athletics are played with purpose and perspective. That place is your local high school. High school sports offer more than the joy of competition. Studies show that student athletes are also likely to enjoy greater levels of achievement in other areas of their lives, including academics. High school sports, a winning part of a complete education.
Hi. Hoping for a crisp breeze to help keep you alert. Oh, he took a sip of water too. That'll probably help. You were probably gonna turn down the radio too, so you could focus, right?
Probably okay isn't okay.
Right?
If you see a warning sign, stop and call a cab, a car, or a friend.
I think the water line is what really drove it home. I blew on him.
Most party fouls are pretty dumb. But if you decide to drink and drive underage, you could lose your license and your freedom. Underage drinking and driving. The ultimate party foul.
Nearly set for the third quarter of play here tonight from Dakota High School. The Cougars out in front 36-22. Some fireworks there to end the second quarter of play as Sydney Hall, the junior guard for Grosse Pointe South, was able to bank home that three-pointer. And it will be the Blue Devils who start with the opening possession of this third quarter.
It shows you, Brad, how well Dakota played offensively in that first half. They gave up that three-pointer at the buzzer, still find themselves up by 14. And a jump ball here gives the ball to Dakota.
Alternating possession arrow favoring the Cougars. And really, Dakota being led by their big three. Cameron Grant with 9 points. It's a long range two, no good. Tara Benevich with 13.
Katie Knapp had a good look right there, led basically set up by Taylor Williams, had a nice crossover, got some space, and just couldn't knock down the shot. But those are the kind of offensive looks you'll live with.
Taylor Williams also factoring into the scoring with 3 points as she draws the charge call there.
Easy.
Taylor Williams doing a lot of the little things here tonight.
Easy call right there as Smetternak used the off arm to shove her down. The official's not going to miss that one, but a turnover and an easy bucket right off the inbound. Those lazy passes caused Dakota some problems in that second quarter. 2-on-1.
Drop off to Grant, might have been fouled. Gets the 2 to go. 11 points now for Cameron Grant. The lead's back up to 14. So the team's trading buckets here in the third quarter.
Dakota's got to be careful, though. Up by 14. They don't want to let this thing get to single digits and give Grosse Pointe South some life.
A little nickel and dime foul there by Jamie Mischenko. Mischenko's second of the game. South having difficulties getting the ball in. Handoff to number 5. Sherebnik gets fouled by Benevich. So Grosse Pointe South going to need a lot more production on their offensive end. It's going to start at the free throw line, and Sherebnik unable to convert on her first.
That's the one thing. You got to hit your free throws, especially when you're down big. It's a good way to get back into a game.
Empty trip there. And they're going to say last touch by Grosse Pointe South. That might have been a tough call there for the Blue Devils. Cameron Grant was right in there as well.
I think the back official was screened a little bit and maybe didn't see it, but it looked like it went off Grant. But the Cougars will take it, Brad.
Mischenko gets it in. Full court pressure once again by the Blue Devils. They've trapped Dakota a couple times. Dangerous pass right in front of Coach Macomb, but Mischenko comes down with it, dribbles into a double team into that far side. Williams trying to split a couple defenders. She can't. Grosse Pointe South, loose ball. What do we have here? A tie up. It could have gone both ways as well, as that could have been easily an over the back call on Taylor Williams, but they will say a jump ball. Possession arrow once again over to the Blue Devils.
Dakota has really struggled, even though they're up big, they've really struggled handling the ball here tonight.
Grant with another rebound, up ahead to Williams. Williams going all the way in, scoops, can't get it to fall. So both teams snake bit, so to speak, here offensively. Downey floats one up, can't get it to fall.
A little out of control, but Taylor Williams moments ago did everything right in transition, just couldn't finish and get that one to fall, but eventually those will.
So it'll be the Blue Devils and Coach Kevin Richards with the timeout. Yeah, this is Grosse Pointe South team, Jason, having a tough time. 5 wins on the season, only 1 league victory, and it was their last game against Romeo, a real slugfest in that one, 38-35 on the road. So the Grosse Pointe South team that's taken their lumps this season, but I think you mentioned it at the very top of tonight's broadcast, they are extremely young.
Yeah, only 3 seniors on their entire roster for varsity, and most of their starting lineup is all underclassmen. So this group is getting some time playing together this year, and they're going to have some experience heading into next season. And like I said, with realignment, you don't know if Grosse Pointe South is going to be a team that stays in the MAC red or maybe they drop to the white. We'll have to wait and see. Got a turnover here.
So it's those empty possessions that are going to haunt Coach Kevin Richards tonight when he looks at this tape. And Mischenko, difficult time getting that in, and was able to bounce the ball off of Sydney Hall's leg out of bounds. For Coach McEwen, a lot of coaching can be done here after this basketball game, as his team at times has really struggled to break this press.
That's one way to do it. Just turn on the jets, give it to Taylor Williams, and let her fly down the court.
Mischenko goes to her left, bounce pass. Benevich back to Mischenko. Mischenko operating past the three-point line. Telegraph that pass, turnover, a little 3-on-1. It's going to be Sydney Hall that can't cash in, however. Hall hustles it down. Sherebnik goes up with it and gets it to fall.
Another case of defense leading to offense right there. Grosse Pointe South has done an awesome job here in this ball game defending the basketball out on the perimeter. Dakota cannot get anything inside, and it's really forcing their offense to do things they're not used to doing.
So Grosse Pointe South has outscored Dakota here 4-2 in the third quarter. MAC Red season winding down. Both teams After tonight, we'll only have 3 games remaining in league play. Hard to believe that the season's already winding down.
Girls start about a week and a half before the boys' season starts, and so they're not exactly the same. But you also have that MAC tournament, and that's something that has kind of changed things in the scheduling. Dakota looking to win the MAC Red. They'll get the #1 overall seed from the Red, and they'll play the 4th place team in the white to start things off in the MAC tournament if they can finish #1.
Really got to like that MAC tournament. Condenses the schedule just a little bit, but gives you some meaningful basketball late in the season.
It gets you set for tournament type of play. You get the mentality of, okay, we got to keep winning to advance. If we don't win, we don't advance. But at least if you did drop a game, you live to fight another day, unlike district and regional play.
Benevich now operating after the Grosse Pointe South missed 3-pointer. She picks up her dribble. Goes over to Williams. Terrific individual effort by Taylor Williams.
That was one heck of a drop step right there by Williams. Got some space and used those long legs to maneuver around her defender. That time she did finish.
Hesberg 3 on the way, no good. Taylor Williams wipes down the rebound. Benevich eyes the 3, got it.
You saw half the bench get up and put the 3 in the air. They saw it when it left her hands. Dakota now with a little burst. Back up big.
Looking for the answer. Sharebnik, no good. Williams hauls it down and gets fouled. A little bit of frustration there out of this Grosse Pointe South team as they have watched Dakota score 43 points. This Cougar team, Jason, so hard to defend.
Yeah, they've got size, they've got length, and they're really quick. That's stuff that you can't really defend. The effort has been there tonight for Dakota. The only problem they've really had is, like I said, handling the basketball at times. And nice over-the-top pass to Grant.
Grant with 13 points. Give Katie Knapp the assist. Driving baseline, kicking it out. Stump up top. Long range 2, right through Maria Hesberg. Leading scorer here tonight for Grosse Pointe South with 8. Bauer up ahead, and it's once again Kramer, and Grant gets knocked down from behind. She springs up quickly and barking out. She might have wanted a flagrant foul.
That's borderline. I mean, that's the definition of a good hard foul, but definitely could have been called a flagrant technical. Really, Brad, the officials got to look at that and determine who you're fouling. You know, if it's a little point guard that gets fouled like that, she might go flying. You might get that flagrant call, but you know, to foul Cameron Grant hard, you know, she's tough inside. That might have just been just a nice hard foul. She's making them pay though. Misses the second.
And right there's Williams. Fouls up the miss with a make from the field. Taylor Williams, 4 points in this third quarter, has really given Dakota an additional lift as the lead is back up now to 20. Hall right in front of her bench.
Nice screen right there.
Kicks it out, 3 on the way. Hesberg misses everything. Margot Bear was in the right spot to haul down the offensive rebound and will shoot 2 after she is fouled.
Nice offensive set in that half court there by Grosse Pointe South. Bear made a nice screen out top, then went down low and able to grab that offensive rebound and drew the contact.
Margot Bear, the only senior in the starting 5 for Grosse Pointe South. Gets both free throws to go. 3:08 now remaining in the third quarter, 48-30. So glad you decided to tune us in. Our first girls varsity game of the year. It's been a fun one. So we get to take a look at one of the top teams of the state, the Dakota Cougars.
Nice effort a moment ago by Williams to keep that ball alive, and then she knocks down the shot. That was all her on that possession. That would have been a turnover. She got that long arm out and knocked the ball away to a teammate. It gave him a second chance, and then she was able to knock down the shot. Nice individual effort.
Taylor Williams really heating up in this third quarter. 6 of her 9 points in this frame. Near takeaway, and now a push there. You can get Rachel Bauer with the call.
Rachel's dad must have been teaching her a little bit about open field tackling, and football coach here at Dakota. She dove after that ball, and unfortunately the ball got behind the defender, and she ended up just tackling the other girl. But
might be able to do that on the football field, but you can't do it on the hardwood.
Yeah, and the nice steal.
Anticipating that pass, and like a good cornerback comes away with the interception.
Yeah, she makes up for the foul. The nice steal. Dakota still has the possession.
Rachel, only a junior. She'll be back next year, as a lot of these Cougars will be. And there's one of the underclassmen, Cameron Grant, can't get the turnaround jumper to fall as the ball sails out of bounds. Basketball over to the Blue Devils.
Yeah, when you look at Dakota's team, you know, I mentioned how young Grosse Pointe South was. Dakota's only got 4 seniors on their entire roster, so most of these girls are coming back next year as well, including, like we said, Cameron Grant, who's only a sophomore, and Taylor Williams.
Tough luck miss there for the Blue Devils. Gives the possession over to Dakota on the tie-up.
How about Jamie Mischenko, only a freshman playing in the starting 5, and Katie Knapp, a junior, underclassman. All 4 of those girls will be back in the starting lineup more than likely next year.
Williams, jumper doesn't go, and that ball might hit the back of the backboard. Dakota might have gotten away with a little one there. Benevich eyes the 3 again. Can't get it to fall. Williams with the rebound. And Dakota really has done a terrific job of crashing the glass.
They've had Grosse Pointe South off balance on this side of the court thus far here in the third quarter. And like you said, controlling the glass, getting those second and third chance opportunities has really killed the Blue Devils.
Taylor Williams' shoes lighting up, or is it some sort of hologram on the back of those Air Jordans?
It's hard to tell from up here. They are glowing quite a bit, but
in those heels?
That Dakota green, though, that's I think Dakota might want to think about making those into their permanent fixture here with the team shoes.
Those are pretty neat. I think they are lighting up. James Drum, one of our camera guys, just said they're bedazzled. That's his words, not mine.
The sad thing is I don't even know what that means, but we'll just go with it.
Williams now, she decides the long-range shot. She dials it up and knocks it down.
Well, she was bedazzling there from beyond the three-point line.
9 points in this third quarter gives her 12, and Cougars just about ready to really turn it on now. 23-point lead. Had 3 different scorers in double figures here, and total package out of Dakota here tonight.
And now Coach McCune's got the benefit of now bringing in some bench players and getting them some playing time and resting his starters, knowing he's got a few big games coming up and he wants to clinch that MAC Red. He's going to need his starters to be fresh down the stretch of the season.
Nevitz has a pass deflected, scramble for it. Grant not going to give up that possession without a fight. And it'll be Grosse Pointe South basketball after the jump ball. Yeah, you mentioned it. They got a couple tough road games left within the MAC Red. Going to have to go on the road. It's a long road trip coming up against Warren Cousino in a couple days before a home game against Romeo, before finishing MAC Red play on the road against Port Huron Northern.
Yeah, that Northern team has always caused Dakota fits, and having to go on the road, that's not going to be an easy game. Blocking foul on this end.
And Williams lowering the shoulder, draws a contact there by Cameron Tucker. Tucker goes hard to the floor. Looks no worse for wear.
They counted the bucket. I was waiting to see if they were going to add the continuation. They counted that bucket and a foul. Slow on that call, Brad, that the score didn't change and they didn't indicate it. Nice three-point trip, though, for Taylor Williams. And Coach McCune at the beginning of the year talked about Williams and said, I'm really anxious to see her progression this year. One of the more talented girls on the team, and he was just excited to see with the progression from her and Cameron Grant and these young players and how they would progress. Thus far, I'd give it 2 thumbs up, wouldn't you, Brad, as far as progression? They're really good players.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of greats come through this gymnasium in terms of girls basketball. You look at girls like Rio Dungeon, and the list goes on from those teams a couple years ago that made constant trips to the district finals. But you mentioned it in that first half of play that Coach McCune said this might be his most talented team, and he might be onto something.
Well, Grosse Pointe South has the possession here with 20 seconds remaining.
Trailing teammate, 3 on the way, no good. Clear out rebound. Shrebnik can't get it to fall. Benevich rips down the rebound. And
got time.
Cougars will hold here for seemingly one final shot.
5
Benevich
seconds.
has a pass deflected. Have to hurry now on this inbound pass. Was looking for Sarah Hamden, who's coming into the game, her first action. A late sub coming in for Grosse Pointe South will be Margot Bear.
That Bear comes in to help defend the inbounds pass, looking for a deflection here.
Dameron will key it in for the Cougars. Finds Grant. Grant going to have to hurry. Gets off the shot. It will not fall. And that's how the third quarter of play will end from Dakota. Cougars with a 26-point advantage. They lead it 56-30. One final break here on MTGA, but when we come back, the start of play in the fourth quarter.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
We are back to Dakota High School. Brad Fetters alongside Jason Burnt for MTGA. And Jason, really a terrific third quarter of play there by the Cougars, a real complete third quarter of play.
I'm sure that was the message at halftime. They played a sloppy second quarter in my assessment, and Coach McCune obviously got on them at halftime and telling them to clean it up a little bit, and they were able to get in some offensive sets, knock down some big shots, and extend that lead. And right now they can just put this in cruise control, it seems, in the fourth quarter. Up by 26.
Dakota ends up outscoring Grosse Pointe South 20-8 in that third quarter, and really Taylor Williams was the catalyst, scoring 12 points.
She's played an outstanding game here tonight, and as you mentioned, Brad, I think it might have something to do with those bedazzling shoes she's got on, but she's really done a nice job on the offensive side of the ball and really come up with some big rebounds too. An all-around player. She's a good player to watch.
15 now in the game for Taylor Williams. Dakota breaks that full court pressure. Cameron Grant catches, goes inside with a good ball fake, and Williams fouls it up.
You could see her defender kind of moved out of the way. Wasn't willing to take a charge perhaps with Grant plowing in there, but forced her into a bad shot under the basket. Williams just happened to be right there, and she'll go to the line.
Taylor Williams well on her way here to a double-double. Has been the best Cougar in terms of rebounding and splits at the free throw line. Grosse Pointe South barely getting it over the timeline, nearly an over and back.
Defensive intensity has picked up from Dakota, but they foul here.
Point with the up and under, and that foul there by Williams. Williams' third of the game.
Not really going to become a factor, the foul trouble in this game. I mean, Grosse Pointe South right now has 18 fouls, Dakota with 5. Got just over 7 minutes to play, so you might see some freebies down the stretch, but with this lead being the way it is for Dakota, hard to imagine that that's going to become a factor in this ball game.
Interesting to see how long Coach McCune stays with Williams and Grant. Dameron there.
Look at what I found, bucket, right there for Olivia Dameron. Ball came immediately right down off the iron to her. She didn't even have to move.
Downey with the crossover. Elects to give it off the Stump. Stump has her shot blocked by Cameron Grant.
Get it out of here. Last line of defense right there, and an awfully good one.
Cameron Grant listed at 6'1". Boy, is a lot bigger than her size. Has had multiple block shots in this game. She's really altered the offense at Grosse Pointe South has come to play here tonight. Really giving them fits.
Really, just by watching this game, you can tell Dakota just has a few more playmakers on their team than Grosse Pointe South does. Right here, Williams gets ahead of 4 blue jerseys. I mean, just simply outran all of them. Now she's wide open underneath.
Little give and go that time between Basilia and Taylor Williams.
The coaching staff at Grosse Pointe South going to have to look at that. I mean, when you got one player that can run past 4 defenders, something's not right.
Wholesale changes coming out for Grosse Pointe South as they look to sub in 4. Grant with the rip-through rebound, and here she comes looking to run. Will have to pull up. Basilia 3 on the way, matches her number as she drills it.
Well, when the defense collapses inside, it leaves open shooters on the outside, and Basilia was able to knock it down.
It's a Dakota team that's not afraid to shoot the 3, and they get rewarded here tonight. And Grosse Pointe South will take another timeout. The lead has grown to 33. It is now 64-31, 5:44 left in regulation.
I think this is the white flag substitutions right here, as Grosse Pointe South is just going to allow a lot of their bench players to come in and get some time. Really an unwinnable game at this point for them, but just want to see what some of these young girls can do for Dakota. Not sure how much longer some of the starters are going to be in there. Dakota's got some players that can come in and provide some minutes off the bench. So I fully anticipate you're going to see the reserves start to come in this game.
You mentioned this is game 1 of a doubleheader here tonight. The boys game going to kick off just after the end of this one. And I'd like to let our viewers know that both games of this doubleheader are available online. Check us out on YouTube.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a YouTube channel now here with Macomb Township Government Access, and all you got to do is go to, you can either go to our township website, www.macomb-mi.gov. You can find it through our broadcast media section there, or just by going to YouTube and searching for Macomb Township Government Access, and you'll see our MTGA logo and all the games. Just subscribe, and all the new basketball games we put up there will show up on our channel. So remind people to check it out.
Both Dakota teams, girls and the boys, are also featured in the season preview show. Terrific job with that, as always.
Always fun to kind of preview teams, see where everyone, at least at the beginning of the year when everyone's 0-0, a lot of optimism. Got to hurry.
Just beat the 10-second violation. Williams, terrific pass, good court vision up ahead of Basilia.
Once again, Bray, great effort. She was trapped at midcourt. She was able to spin out of that, get away from 2 defenders, and find an open teammate underneath. Without getting away from that hard trap at midcourt, that would have been a turnover.
Somehow avoided the out of bounds, avoided any sort of turnover on a travel, and another steal and pull up right at that timeline. Conrad in the game for Dakota. We'll go inside to Grant. Terrific spin move. Gets the floater to fall.
How about that shooter's touch right there? Hung up in the air just long enough to set herself, and bucket on this end here for South.
Shrebnik able to beat everybody down the floor and really kind of stops that momentum that Dakota had built here in this 4th quarter of play.
Only 11 points scored in the second half, so the defense has been there for Dakota, limiting Grosse Pointe South. It's almost, when they get a bucket, it's almost surprising at this point because the offense has been hard to come by.
Yeah, 12-3 run here in this 4th quarter to open up the lead now to 35. And That was the margin of victory the last time these two teams matched up, 35 points over on Grosse Pointe South's home floor.
Nice knockaway by Grant.
And Grant dumps it off outside. Basilia 3 short. And stepping on the baseline was Jamie Zink.
When you expect the shot to hit the rim, you're not expecting it to come straight down underneath the basket.
Yeah. Long range shots usually mean long rebounds, except when they don't touch the rim. Drive inside, Sydney Hall can't get it to fall. It's kind of been the story all night long for Grosse Pointe South as Kennedy Reese put her head down and drove the lane. Can't get the shot to fall, but she will shoot 2 from the line.
Kennedy Reese has provided some spark off the bench. She did in the second quarter. I mentioned a 5'11" senior. I mentioned the depth that Dakota has. If you ever have a game that Cameron Grant gets in foul trouble or, you know, God forbid an injury or something like that, you got another 6'11" girl that can come off the bench and provide a good post presence.
And Reese, 5 points off the bench. Second free throw hits the back iron, falls into the hands of Grosse Pointe South. Looking to create 69-33. 3 on the way, no good. Dakota with the rebound, tripped up Sarah Hamden into the game.
Just couldn't dribble away from the double team there, out of bounds. It'll be South basketball.
76 points that Dakota scored against Grosse Pointe South was the previous season high. 7 points short of that mark right now. Hesberg up top to Tucker. Tucker bounce pass to Downey. Downey gets the 3 to go.
Kind of a line drive shot, but she got it to fall.
Dribbling off the foot there. Zink keeps the possession alive. Hamden trying to track that basketball down. And
that time Sarah Hamden, Brad, she looked up and she thought about passing the ball. She hesitated just slightly, and it cost her.
Tiptoes the sideline that time. Catches the pass. Tapped out of bounds by Grosse Pointe South, so it'll stay with Dakota. Officially all 5 starters on the bench now for the Cougars. Kennedy Reese up top, Hamden over to Conrad. Cross-court pass, long range 2, no good. Downey comes down with it, looking to create now. She calls out the play. Operating between the circles, Downey picks up her dribble, hands off the stump. 2, no good. Kennedy Reese now with an opportunity to take over this basketball game, getting some minutes. It's at 6th man for Dakota. Reese calling for the basketball in the post position. Good ball movement, 2, off the back iron, no good. Stump slows things down with Hesberg. Hesberg goes strong to the left side. Dumps off the pass and was fouled.
You often see girls cut to the middle in transition. Not sure if that's something that the coaches teach, but a lot of times that's where all the defenders kind of focus is in the middle of the court. And you could see there Grosse Pointe South in transition. If they would have cut to the outside, there might have been a lane out there to get around some of those defenders. Instead, they try to split it quite frequently, and it usually leads to a turnover.
A little bit of tunnel vision, maybe just eye the basket and head right towards it.
Look out here.
Yeah, gonna have to get this over. The timeline, trapped in the backcourt.
Yeah, that was an easy call to make.
10-second violation.
When you start dribbling backwards about 5-6 seconds in, you know you're in big trouble. And that time Bauer got cut off and had to go back, and they just couldn't get it over midcourt.
So Coach Macomb letting them play. Downey picks up her dribble, goes over to Stump. Stump will hand off right back to Downey. Downey being harassed there by Rachel Bauer. Hesberg can't get the shot to fall, but it will stay with the Blue Devils. So Coach McCune and the Cougars will improve to 6-1 and stay a game out in front of the Patriots of Warren Cousino.
MAC Red Championship is something that they've eyeballed this year.
Good response, too, after they were upset by Grosse Pointe North, 66-63 in their last game, to come back here on their home floor and really take care of business tonight.
Yeah, defensively, it's been there, only allowing the 36 points here tonight and still putting up 69. So offensive consistency, they just got to improve on the defensive side. And like I said, really the story of the game tonight, Brad, was the ball handling. That when Dakota started to falter, it was when they were turning the ball over and setting themselves up and getting into some hard traps, and really Grosse Pointe South dictated that for a while, but Dakota's got to improve on that moving forward, because some of those good teams are gonna see that, and they're gonna recognize it, and they're gonna try to duplicate it.
One of those good teams is that Cousino team, and they will match up with Dakota in a couple days, and that will basically more than likely be for that MAC title, whether or not Dakota wins it outright or has to share it with Cousino. That's going to be a big game in Warren in a couple days.
Grosse Pointe South, I think, needs to maybe hire a designer or something for their apparel. Boys just walked in back there and in their warm-ups, and kind of a unique look as they get set to take on this Dakota boys team following this one.
It's kind of like that Indiana Hoosier candy cane stripe warm-ups.
Striped pants. Yeah, boys team struggling this year as well, and Dakota on top of the red for boys as well as this girls team. So,
yeah. Cougars proving they're not just a power in the game of football, that they are perennial powers in the game of basketball as well, as that boys team just carries a long winning streak into tonight's action.
Didn't really see it coming with the changeover they had at the beginning of the year, and they've had some young players step up, and Coach Toko has told us that he's just got some younger kids that are playing big minutes for him and doing a nice job, and right now they sit on top of the red once again.
Next man up.
As for this girls team, though, I can't say enough about them. Coach McCune's got them primed and ready to maybe take a MAC Red championship as South gets a bucket, but maybe take the MAC Red, get set for the MAC tournament, and try to make that long run in the district and regional playoffs.
Yep, regional champions last year is Kennedy Reese. Just really had a nice fourth quarter, and
I got to tell you, Brad, if this team is able to make a run, those green and white jerseys will look real nice on the floor of the Breslin Center in East Lansing.
Yeah, not quite Michigan State green and white. There's a little bit of blue in the Dakota jersey.
I think this green and white will fit in just nicely, though. But nice win for Dakota here tonight.
You got Grosse Pointe South feeling a little blue here tonight, as it was all Cougars. Final score in this one, 72-42. Jason, your final thoughts?
Yeah, we touched on it. A complete game by Dakota. They really controlled the offensive side of the game throughout. A few things they got to clean up, but I'm sure they will in the upcoming weeks. But just a nice overall win, and now they move on to the next one.
Dakota improves to 10-2, 6-1 in MAC Red play. Once again, final score 72-42. For Jason Burnt, I'm Brad Fetters and the rest of our hardworking NTGA crew saying goodnight from Dakota High School. We'll see you next time right here on Macomb Township Government Access.